So, what is the diet now? What is the sugar diet? What does it become? The rules have got to be a lot simpler. Easy for me to say, more simplerist. The rules of engagement have changed. The only rule that we're really following is to try to push those fat grams down really low. Now, Dr. Sean Baker, he hijacked me today. He picked me up, threw me in his car, made me work out with him and Mike Mutzel. And they fed me some steak, and that was a Wagyu New York strip. It was delicious. It was really good. But that's the most amount of fat I've had in a while. And that's something to consider and think about, is like accumulation. And I do think you should have some fat breaks, have some breaks where you're not eating that much fat. For people that want to lose weight or people that want to get lean, keep in mind, I'm around 8% body fat and I'm working my way down. I want to kind of hang around 6%, 5%, or see if I even can. I don't really even know. I have no idea what my body fat percentage was when I competed in bodybuilding, but I know that I got shredded and I was very lean. And I like the leanness I have now, but would like to still continue to get a little leaner. I weigh about 210 to 212, 215 on a heavier day, working my way down to 200 pounds. And I don't want to lose any muscle mass. I want to keep it. So the rules of engagement have changed. All we're really trying to do is just make sure that there's hardly any fat in the foods that we're eating. And I mixed up This is the Whey protein shake, which has very little fat in it. And the Super Golden Crisp has very little fat in it. I think 0.5 per serving, as you may have seen there. And I may have gone through a pretty good amount. Maybe I'll eat a little bit more of that. Not sure. I just go by how things feel, how it feels to me. I had a protein shake earlier. I had egg whites earlier today. I had egg whites and I had an English muffin with it, and that was amazing. No butter. Ate a small amount of the hash browns, and ate a bunch of fruit today. So one thing I'd like you guys to kind of consider or look at is that some of the foods that you eat, some of the carbohydrate-based foods that you eat, are nice opportunities to not eat any fat. It's a good way to look at it. And then when you're eating protein, this is a great opportunity for you to induce protein muscle synthesis and to help your body hold on to lean tissue. Now, I know a while back I was talking about, reducing your protein amount and bringing that down. And I still think that's a good idea on occasion, because if we're going to bring the fats down, let's say I have a day where I want my fats to be like 10 or 15 or 20 grams for the day. Well, it's just so much easier if I only have like a pound of meat, right? If I have, let's say, 1 pound of chicken breast, that probably puts me at around 8 grams of fat or something like that. I don't know how much fat, but there is fat in a chicken breast. Maybe I'll also eat a couple egg whites. Maybe I'll throw down a protein shake. And that would be that for the day. Other days I might have 20 grams of fat or 30 grams of fat. And on those days, more than likely, I'm probably going to increase the amount of protein that I'm going to have. I do think with the amount of carbohydrates I'm going to consume per day, which would probably be around 500, I don't really think I need to really hammer protein. But again, I will play around with that and I will modify that as we go. And maybe that will increase a little bit. I'm also playing around with some other ideas. I'm thinking about either doing a little bit of cardio or potentially doing what Stan Efferding has suggested to me, was to work out twice a day, a few times a week, maybe 3 times a week, and have a fourth day of training that is not a double day, something like that. And that's something I've been considering, because I have weights. I have a whole nice gym set up at my house. I have one set up on my property, and then I also have one set up in my actual house, and then I have weights at my studio. So I've got plenty of spots. I got places all over the place, plenty of spots to get in some good training. And I'm not looking to overtrain or hurt myself or do anything crazy, but It's something I've been thinking about. What I also usually think about is like, well, if I work out twice a day, like how long am I going to want to work out twice a day? And then the other side of me says, well, who cares? Maybe you want to work out twice a day for a little while, and then you may maybe be not so motivated to do so. But who gives a shit, right? So I have about 2 weeks before I go to Scotland and Ireland. Going to visit a powerlifting gym over there. I'm excited for that. But yeah, I've just been doing some thinking, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll give a good push between now and when I go. And when I go, the diet's going to change a little bit while I'm gone, but there's no reason why I can't still maintain some healthy caloric intake while I'm gone. And, you know, I'm going to drink some alcohol. I'm going to do all the things that people in Scotland and Ireland do, because why wouldn't I, right? And I'm with my family. I'm with my entire family. I can't fucking wait, by the way. I'm so excited. I love doing stuff with my family. You guys don't see a lot of stuff. I don't post a lot of stuff about my family. I keep it private. I don't post a lot of stuff on Instagram. I don't show my family much on YouTube. It started that way. If you go back on this channel, you go back on, the Super Training 06 channel, the first video ever shot was 18 years ago this September, when my son Jake met his baby sister at the hospital and gave her a stuffy. So I used to share that stuff, and I got more popular. I was like, nah, this stuff's golden. This stuff is for these eyes. And, you know, sometimes it's for the camera. I will record them. I will take pictures with my kids and stuff, but I always tell them, I'm like, hey, this is just for family stuff. You don't have to worry about me posting shit about you. But occasionally I will. Occasionally I'll do a repost or post a little stuff here and there, because they're my kids and I love them like crazy. Family first, friends first. And that's what I'm doing up here in Seattle. Talking with Sean Baker, Mike Mutzel. Supposed to meet with Anthony Chafee too, but unfortunately he had a family emergency he had to attend to. So, you know, I like to meet all these people face to face. And I like to, you know, Mike Mutzel said that the diet I was doing is dumb. Sean Baker said the diet I was doing, you know, not necessarily was dumb, but, you know, Cole Robinson throws a lot of shots at him. And anyway, Sean Baker is someone I've got a lot of respect for, and we're friends. And so I said, hey, let me come up and let's all talk about this. And that's exactly what we did today. I got on his podcast today, and we went through some great content. I think we kicked some ass with what we talked about, and Sean Baker was very willing to meet me halfway. I was very willing to meet him halfway. I admit that the carnivore diet has utility, and he admitted that what I'm doing has utility. We weren't fighting against that, and actually, ultimately, what we said is like, why not do both? Why not try both systems out? Anyway, I love what I'm doing right now, and all it is just dropping the fat way down. The protein doesn't need to be dropped down, but in order for me to get 10 grams or 20 grams or 30 grams a day, the fat might need to be 100, 125, 150 or something, or the protein might need to be, you know, 150, 100, something like that. If I'm not just eating shrimp and scallops, which I don't have any problem doing. Shrimp, scallops, tuna, I love all that stuff. You know, I really do. I enjoy the shit out of those foods. And it's actually really interesting. The iodine that's in scallops is kind of cool. And also the cholesterol that's in shellfish, and the cholesterol that's in shrimp. So like in some ways that can help, because that is a lipid, and you need lipids. And when you drop your fats way down, you're not consuming as many lipids, so it's harder sometimes to get cholesterol. But in the case of shrimp is not accompanied by saturated fat, which is interesting, isn't it? It's really kind of a wild phenomenon. But you know what? I get to eat rice. I get to eat potatoes. I started cooking potatoes a little bit more last week, just because my son always vampires my rice. He just sucks it right up, devours my rice all the time. And so, like, I like cooked rice. I like to have the rice already cooked and in the fridge because of the prebiotic fibers and stuff like that. And he usually snares that. So it sucks. I know, and so I have some difference of opinion with Cole Robinson. Cole Robinson talks about, protein first and all that. And I've done all those diets before. Protein leveraging, I've been talking about it for a really long time, at least 6 years. Single digit body fat series done over a year and a half ago. Talked tirelessly about protein leveraging, and that's a great diet. It's a great way to do it, but you don't have to have your protein first. It can be beneficial for some to stuff themselves a little bit with protein, but it's just, what happens is with all these things, it just makes it harder, and there's probably really no real reason to do it. So if you can eat some chicken breast and rice, I don't know, maybe you eat like half a chicken breast before you have chicken breast and rice. Like that might be a good idea, because that way you are getting more protein in. And people are very, their stomach is full of other foods, and it's really important that they get protein in. And so people are like protein diluted. They dilute themselves of protein because they never really get an opportunity or shot to eat the protein that they need to consume, because they're diluted by a bunch of other bullshit food. And so I do agree on that front. Like, don't just go and eat like a big thing of cereal and then, not really have much protein in it, but like this has about 60 grams of protein in it probably, because I threw protein powder in there. And having protein before you eat can be really effective in terms of the second meal effect, which should help regulate your blood sugar. Those of you who had blood sugar issues, have a little bit of protein before you, have your sugary stuff. But I still think this diet is the sugar diet. Like, I say fuck all that. I say fuck Cole Robinson. Like, the sugar diet has helped us realize so many things. And if I'm going to be eating 500 grams of carbs a day, and all of those carbs are going to turn to glucose, I think they all turn to glucose. Some of the fructose goes to your liver. But I don't know what happens to it then. It probably then turns to glucose if you need it. Human body is an amazing thing, isn't it? It really does some cool stuff. Yeah, fuck Cole. He's wrong on some shit sometimes. As we've seen, right? And that's why he changes. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff too. And that's why you change and modify, and it's called evolving. And I respect him for that. And he's a friend. So I'm not shitting on him. He's a friend. We talk almost every single day, Cole and I just don't yell on the internet the way that he does. But behind closed doors, the truth is, I think that you guys are fat, weak, and fucking pathetic, and you can't do it. That's my real thoughts. I think you're fat pieces of shit, is really the way that I think. But aside from that, let me keep moving forward here. That's the diet. That's the way the diet is. And I still think it is the sugar diet. The sugar diet has helped me realize, and I know it's helped a lot of you. It's helped a lot of you men and women out there to now realize kind of more what you should be eating. And it also left you craving something that you probably haven't really craved before on a diet. And that was what? That was meat and starches. What a beautiful thing for the people that are addicted to food to now be thinking about, instead of pizza and ice cream and everything else, now you're thinking about the shit that's good for you. Now you're thinking about the shit that's going to do a body good. Right? Now you're thinking about lean meats and starches. That's what you're kind of dreaming of these days. So anyway, kind of in conclusion here, I'll just wrap this up and tell you that on some days, I'm still doing a sugar fast by day, lean meat and starch by night. Because why not? Why not continue to mess around with that a little bit and just see what that does? And rather than making it like just one meal in the evening, why not make it like 2 meals? So, I'll have my first protein meal at like anywhere between, 3 and 4. and then have the next one anywhere between 6 and 8, something like 6 and 7, something like that. It's summertime, so it's usually later, 6 or 8. Go to bed at 10, something like that. Why not? Why not 2.5 meals, 2 meals and a protein shake. On the days where I'm going to have a little bit more protein, maybe on a day where I'm going to have less protein, maybe I cook up a certified Piedmontese steak, which, by the way, they're lean as shit. They have like top sirloin and flanks, flat iron steaks that are really lean, a bavette steak. You got a lot of great stuff over there. Anyway, maybe, I'll cook up like one of those, maybe a filet. The fillets have almost 0 fat. Fillets are expensive, I know. You can use my code MarkBell. Helps you get, I think, 25% off. I don't ever take a cut from Piedmontese. Not that that's anyone's fucking business, but I don't. I'm not the grifter some of you make me out to be. I had a free gym for 10 years. Hopefully that has put some goodwill into the fitness industry. Hopefully that's put some good. And also, too, I've shared this many times. Whatever you're considering a grifter to be, then that is, if you're considering a grifter to be someone that sells something and someone that likes to sell things and likes to hawk products, that's me. That's what I do. I've been doing that forever. Right now I'm just telling you about my diet, and like there's going to be a product in there, right? Like I'm always, and the protein powder, this is the way from Within You brand. Like, I don't know anyone that doesn't like use and utilize products. And so when I listen to a podcast and Peter Itea is going on about B vitamins, I want him to like plug the company that he thinks is good for B vitamins. I want to go check it out. I do. And I think there's a lot of other people that are interested too. You listen to Joe Rogan and maybe he talks about like a new dumbbell or something. I'm hoping, I'm like waiting for him to like mention what it is, because I find it fascinating. I wanted to learn about this like newish thing or whatever, this kettlebell company that he mentions. Or I hear him talking a lot about these Onyx gloves that this guy created. There's a UFC guy, UFC coach. He created these Onyx gloves that Rogan says are superior to the gloves that are used in UFC. And I think that's amazing. So I looked them up. I didn't buy them. I'm not a fighter, but I was just like, that's so cool. That's awesome. That's really interesting. He made room for like better thumb stuff and less pokey thumb in the eye. And it's just, all that shit. All that shit's great. But I've been hawking products from the very beginning. So there's no one that can say that I changed. You can say that I'm a grifter. You can say that I'm a salesman. And you can say all those things. But you can't take away the fact that I've been doing things the same way for a really long time. I've had a similar message the entire time. The entire time that I was fat, the entire time that my team was fat, we always talked about being fat, and we've always talked about being less fat. None of these things are new. You can ask anyone that's been in the circle. And some people that ended up, no longer being in the circle, a lot of that was just people going their separate ways and was business stuff. Man, it's like, hey, there's nobody that doesn't have that kind of stuff in their background. I am an owner of a large company, of what was a large company, and we shrunk it down a lot. We had to fire people, had to let go of people. But those same people I fired, guess what? I also gave them a place to work for a long time. And then sometimes you get, this on the way out the door. I worked so hard for you. And you got paid for it. So that's cool that you worked hard for me. I appreciate that. That's what you were expected to do. You did what you were supposed to do. You got paid for it. That's why this worked. And now that this is no longer, I'm not going to expect you to want to hang around me anymore. Because that's just the way it goes. That's the way business is. And also before, and some of you guys have just no clue what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about super training and some of that stuff and some of the things that happened way in the past. And usually a lot of the cases, not all the cases, but a lot of the cases were people couldn't hang with what we were doing. We're moving at a very fast pace and people couldn't hang with what we're doing. And I also tried to bring on a lot of employees. Like we got up to, and it's not a lot of employees, but we got up to like 20, 22, 23 employees. And it raised up our media team and it did a couple things, but I didn't need that many people. It was just absurd. We just didn't need that many people. And I realized over time that the best way to manage employees is not to have any. And so we went back to our roots, which is me, my wife, and close family friends that help run the business. That's it. Boom, you just cut it down, right? Anyway, I've been the same person through the whole thing, and I have changed in terms of my goals and stuff like that. And I guess, you end up with the question of, if there was an old Viking battleship and they kept repairing it, and it kept making changes to it every year because they wanted to upgrade it and update it and make sure it didn't have, barnacles on it, and they had to repaint it a different color because it was chipping and falling apart and so on. Is it still the same Viking ship, right? And I guess you would say no, but all ships, all people, all things have to go through changes. It's important, right? It's like we have to kind of go through some of these things. Anyway, I'm a grifter and I'm a drifter and I'm drifting around with this conversation. But I really just wanted to communicate to you guys. I'm in Seattle, Washington, and I had a meal today. I had a big steak meal with Dr. Baker. That sucker probably had a good 50 grams of fat in it. But I didn't eat a whole lot else today except for the egg whites in the morning, a little bit of candy during the workout, some Sour Patch Kids. And I was like, you know what? I just kind of feel like chilling, watching some Sports Center. And I just want to eat. And so I brought protein powder with me, which is packed over here. Brought that over here. See, this is the way vanilla. This is the way chocolate. By the way, I bought these weird things. These are really weird. At this Asian market, super strange. It's like sweet potatoes or whatever. It's odd, pretty good though. I brought these with me. Bear apples and bananas and shit like that. That stuff's really good. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to celebrate with a little cereal before I went to bed. And there's the bed right there. I'm gonna get some good ass sleep in a little bit. I'm gonna finish this cereal, go back to watching some TV, but I wanted to give you guys an update. This is the sugar diet still, and this is the new sugar diet, and just be ready because I'm just going to keep getting leaner, keep getting in better shape, and keep giving you guys the updates on what I'm doing and giving you some information on what I think that you should do. On that note, if you're making progress with what you're doing, let me know in the comments below. If you feel like you're stuck, maybe try some of the suggestions that I had today. Remember, the main rule, the main goal is, let's just say, keep the fats below 20 or 30. I know Cole is recommending under 10. Under 10 is a really tall order, especially to do every day. I don't really recommend it. Don't think it's super necessary. But on some days, I would say, yes, go to 10 grams of fat. I'd also say on some days, maybe try to go no fat. But I also think that it makes sense to up our fats every once in a while. So maybe once every other week or something, or once a week you have 50 grams of fat, or you sprinkle in something, because I just think that your luck will run out eventually. I know that some people are kind of saying that your hormones won't tank and this and that because you're eating carbs, you got your protein. And I agree with them that they probably won't, but I still think the fats are important for many different reasons, not just for your hormones. They're important for satiation and satisfaction. I can't get no, right? You know that song? You need satisfaction in your life. It's important. And so if you have the opportunity to have a chicken breast, right? But then you also can eat a chicken thigh with that chicken breast in a thing of rice and some teriyaki sauce. Buy the non-fat teriyaki sauces. Don't buy the gluey kind because they almost always have some shitty oil in them. Don't fuck with those. Well, this is my opinion. Don't fuck with those. You can mess with whatever you want. Wow, Joe Frazier just blasted Ali with a left hook. 3rd round, broke his jaw. Holy shit. Whew. Legendary punch. One punch knocking a guy down that's 235 pounds. It's pretty awesome. And Ali surviving the rest of the fight. Fucking crazy. Crazy just watching this SportsCenter thing. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. Protein, could be anywhere between like half your body weight to 1 gram per pound. It could also be 1 gram per pound of lean muscle tissue. You can kind of play with that and just sort of like learn where your protein should be for you. And in terms of the carbohydrates, I would say, try to get in 1,500 to 2,000 calories worth of carbohydrates every day. That's it. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.